certainly proud of our football team, and they've had a great week of prep. Coming off a tough football game, we've had a couple of those, which I think prepared us well for a game like this. Really, really good Mercer team. But just really proud of the preparation our staff did, our players, and then went out there and, I just told them I thought we certainly finally played a complete game. It wasn't a perfect game, but just a complete football game, physical, all those things. Our execution was really good, and I think obviously you take away a couple plays there before the half, and really a couple plays in the drive in the third quarter. We hurt ourselves as much as anything. Man, I thought we played really well. Tyler certainly had a big day managing the offense, and
Jake, come on.
There's Jay. I told Jake, I saw him before the game. I told him it's about time we get some work out of him this year. But certainly, I think these guys can attest to what he means to our football team, just being in there, and certainly an outstanding player. But just proud of our defense, the stops we got, and really, like I said, always good to beat a good team, and I'm excited going forward. Don wasn't available in the second half, and you look at Jaquan and Maya, and I think they were our fourth and fifth guys when we started the year, and we really felt like we've had five guys you could count on and play with, and they stepped up big in the second half. I think Hugh tried to go in the first half of something that kind of kept, we'll get the week off will be good for him, but he wasn't available, so you think about some of those guys that weren't available. Some of our guys stepped up. Again, excited to have a bye and try to get a little healthy, try to get a little better at something, and because we played well, we can play better, and that'll be our goal going forward. So, with that, any questions you may have?
Coach, outside of the Mercer's last drive before half, first drive, second half, where stuff that can't happen happened. Can you tell me about the defensive effort, especially containing a guy like Harper, and obviously Ian Williams' job of keeping away from Harper is just putting everything through the end zone?
Yeah, I tell you what, our special teams, and I've said this, Coach Spangler does a phenomenal job with that group, and they've taken on his personality, and he's that kind of guy. And he challenged them, and we've been, we had big-time returners last week, and those guys just continue to answer the bell. And Ian, kind of really Axel wasn't available with a little strain today, so Ian did everything. And so I think, we've just done some really good stuff there, and I think it started there. But really, again, I think just a good team effort all around. We were physical up front, both sides of the ball, ran the ball well. Certainly were balanced throwing it, which doesn't mean 50-50, but we made them defend the whole field. And then, defensively, like I said, you take a few plays away, and I thought we got after them pretty good.
Tyler, it seems like today was a little bit like last week where you kind of just got the feel for what they were giving you defensively. Can you talk about, you started to complete some passes and then that maybe opened up the running game a little bit. Just talk about that.
Yeah, we know they're susceptible to it. A lot of, quick game, a lot of RPO, just, they're playing off coverage. I think they knew their DBs were a little not all that, so I think they try to hide it with playing off coverage. So we just took advantage of the little dink and dunks, and a lot of the passes I threw were RPO. So if the safety comes in, fills in the box, the run doesn't look good. I throw the ball, and then later, whenever we start hitting on that, safety stepped out the box, and that's when the run started opening up. So it's just complementary football, just basing off of each other.
I just wondered, between the old line coach and the lineman, I just wondered that, I know your linemen are interchangeable, but putting Wyatt at center and Jake back at guard, when I believe Jake had been moved to center beforehand, I just wondered what went into that. Was it?
Well, don't give me any credit. Matt McCutcheon, Matt's done a phenomenal job since he's got here with those guys. And I just think that group has continued to get better, and we've had to fit some pieces the first few weeks, which now I think's made us even that much better just from a depth standpoint. But we just felt like Wyatt had been really solid there. He's so sharp and identifying fronts, and this is one of those games you're having to, the safeties were having to figure into the counts a lot of times because of the way they play. You almost have to treat them like a linebacker, and obviously we did a really good job there. That's been a really good defense, and you look at them last year and this year, they don't give up yards easily, and again, I think we averaged over 5 yards a carry, and then Tyler, 21 to 26. We're really efficient, you know, and I think really good on third down. Probably lost some of our third down stuff right there at the end of the game. You know, we were just going to go 4 downs and run it. But I, again, credit Matt and Jake.
Jake, I have a hunch you probably were very happy with that. Do you like playing guard?
I mean, honestly, I'll play wherever, but I think a lot of what drove the decision was just not interrupting the rhythm of the offensive line, you know, because you got the center out there making the mic calls that dictate our angles and where we're going and where the double teams are working to. And you have a guy in Wyatt who's been doing that for 3 weeks, and like Coach said, been doing a great job. I don't think it's necessarily smart to take a guy who has a lot of rust, who hasn't practiced in months, and put him in that position to where he's got to do all that extra thinking. And I mean, I would have done it. I would have done it with a smile on my face, but yeah, I like the work.
Coach, what's the status of Dominic as of right now?
You know, Dom had an ankle, you know, some kind, you know, form of an ankle sprain. Was really limited to practice all week. Practice Wednesday, most of Wednesday, Thursday. I thought he ran really well in the first half, and I don't know. I think, you know, I talked to him. It felt like the way they had to tape him might have kind of irritated his foot more. I just think could he maybe gone and played, maybe, but we just felt really good about those two guys and what they bring to the table, you know. And then, you know, we actually lost Kelton on practice one day, just playing it kind of funny. But we got a good report. I think, you know, in a week or two he'll be good to go. So hopefully we'll be back to having all 4 of those guys. You know, Grant's most likely out for the season. You know, we lost him in the South Carolina game. But that's why we won a number of those guys. You know, we played with 2 backs in the backfield most of the day. But I think Don will be good, a little rest.
Jack, the SoCon play begins and the block party returns. Can you take me through that play, and also take me through, you were in on one of the sacks today, and obviously that's a guy you got to be careful with. Too much pressure will take off on you. What was the key to kind of, outside of those 2 drives, kind of bottling him up as well?
Yeah, it was just maintaining, make sure we had contain on PB because he's a little slick guy. He's a good player. The field goal block, I mean, that's a unit thing. We all just put our head down and know that we got to get this down or it's going to put 3 on the board. So we just made sure that just bow our necks, put the guard in the backfield, and then blow it up, and it worked. I got a little finger on it. I didn't really get a full mitt on it. That's why it almost went, but we diverted it enough, so that was good. Happy to see it.
Coach, you did a pretty good job. I hadn't looked at the other games, but I would imagine that's probably the best job anyone's done against Harper and James this season. Could you talk about just, you know, how you guys were able to keep those guys kind of in front of you instead of, you know, getting behind you a lot? Well,
yeah, I think certainly Dwayne and staff and defense, our kids had a good plan. And, you know, it's like anything else, guys pressure the quarterback. I thought we did. You know, again, you know, the old coach in me, we lost contain a few times that hurt us, you know, and it obviously let him escape and knew he was a guy that could hurt you, you know, running the ball. So I don't know, just continue to do that. You know, and there's some things we got to clean up. And we'll continue to work at that. And again, I think our depth helps us there, being able to roll a bunch of guys in the game. And you know, we'll continue to look at some things we're doing and know that's an area we'll have to get better at. And we'll work good on good, and you know, so it's a work in progress.
Zach, you're a pretty high-powered guy. You're a pretty emotional guy. And sometimes when you have a team like with the volatility of Mercer, it's difficult to, I mean, like when you're playing contain, I would imagine when you're damn the torpedoes full speed ahead, you have to guard against being exploited because of how much breakaway threat they have. And for one thing, I thought that even though they got outside, as a general rule, I thought that was a strong point of the day, that you let them outside sometimes, but by and large, you kept them under control. And I just wondered from a personal point and the point of the guys up front, how you did that or how much importance you put into it.
Well, I'll start with how much of a personal game Mercer is for the D-line. I think we've all kind of like played Mercer, and sometimes it didn't go the way we wanted. So we wanted to make sure that them boys felt us today. and I think we made sure we contained him, and he didn't slip out that much. Only a couple of times, but made sure he got him on the ground when he did. It's just personal for us today, for real.
Coach, at the end of the game, he was able to get Kelton Gunn in. He didn't have a chance to play any last year. What did it mean to get him back out on the field and start getting him some reps?
Well, I think anytime, who would have thought this game? How many guys we got in the game? We got a ton of guys in the game. They practice. Kelton does some really good things. Kelton's had the best fall because he's one of the best fall he's had since he's been here. We got some pretty good players out there at that position, but no, those guys. I think Jack will tell you just what little scout is. Our scout groups have been maybe some of the better ones we've had since I've been here. How they work. I think there's a bunch of good young players in that group. Hopefully we can redshirt most of them. I have to put them in there, but I'm happy for a guy like Kelton. Taylor Bello saw a guy, another older guy that's been in our program. And you know what? They'll practice better next week. They practice pretty good all the time, anyways. But I think that's what makes really kind of our group pretty special. We just got a bunch of ball-in guys that want to be here, and then we'll help our team win. And so it's certainly great when you get a chance to get them in the game.
Jake, what was it like just to sit there on the sideline throughout the preseason camp and the past 3 weeks, and how important? I mean, it's kind of out of your control. You just got to wait to be cleared. But to come back for the SoCon opener, and especially having a week off next week, there had been another week you had to wait. How important was it for you to get back on the field for this game?
Yeah, it's really important, obviously. Sitting on the sideline was frustrating. Like you said, it was out of my control. And then sort of since I got hurt, we had this game circled as maybe potentially the game I returned for. And so for me, personally, that was just, I sort of locked all my personal hope into being able to come back on this one because like Jack said, this is a personal game for us. And yeah, it's felt good to be back out there with the guys, making any difference I can.
Tyler, could you just talk about Jaquan's performance today? I thought, as the game wore on, he almost got stronger as he ran the ball. Could you just talk about his performance and what you're seeing from him?
For sure. Now he's an exciting player. I love being around Jaquan. He's a very lively guy. I don't know if you saw the full extent of, I wouldn't say his celebration, but his excitement after his score was pretty excited on the sideline, pretty funny. He's a great guy, but that's somebody who's a young guy, but I mean he'll run through anybody out there, and I've seen him do it several times. He makes a lot of people miss, and he kind of sneaks up on people with his speed. So it's exciting to watch him get the ball, especially out of pistol, something like that, where he's got a lot of room to work. Before he gets the line of scrimmage, it's exciting to watch him run. He's a good player for us. We're good to have him.
I just want to piggyback off that real quick and ask about Mason and the chemistry you guys are developing. For being a new guy as well. Obviously, he's a big target. There's a big old target wide open in the end zone on that touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, when we brought him in, we saw the potential we had, so we knew right away that me and him had to get on the same page and get our chemistry right. And I think we did a good job of that throughout the week, in fall camp and through the season going on. And it's exciting. He came from a team where they didn't throw it around a whole lot, so which is kind of crazy because he's a hell of a route runner and pretty good receiver. So we're excited to use him. But I mean, it's easy whenever nobody's within 10 yards of him. It's pretty easy right there. So, but I love throwing it up to the big guy. He always comes down to it, and it makes my job easier. I put it 6 feet, and anywhere he gets around him, he's gonna get it. So it's easy for me.
Tyler, you're having a very consistent year, and for a guy who makes plays, you seem to be spontaneous, but yet there's not any let up. Whatever is available, you do that. And I just wondered, you're a very experienced player, but I mean, you seem to be able to make plays wherever the opportunity is to make them. And do you think that's just a consequence of experience, or have you been taking magic in the off season?
No, I haven't done that. I don't really know. I don't know what to credit that to. I really wasn't much of a runner or athlete, honestly. It's kind of weird, but before my ACL surgery, 2 years ago, that's that rehab kind of propelled me into be able to be more athletic and run around. But I don't really know. I just in season, if it's not open, by third progression, try to go out there and make a play.
I'm just saying you don't have a lot of bad games.
That's not gonna work.
Coach, Wayne Anderson's a guy that's been around here a long time, done some different things, and is still doing different things. And it seems like every week this season I can think of a play in a game where he's made a play, even though he hasn't been out there a whole bunch. really taking advantage of the opportunities he gets. Can you speak to what he's done this year?
Yeah, I think Wayne's maybe the epitome of that guy that, man, what a great teammate. And, he hurt the knee early in the maybe Tennessee Tech game and missed the better part of 2 weeks. And then, Ben and Colton kind of really stepped up, did a really good job there. Certainly the return last week was huge. He had a really good one today. He made the play there today. But he's a guy, when he touches the ball, he seems to come up with a lot of big plays. So we're going to continue to try to get him involved. He was a running back. So I don't know, you may see him back there a little bit too. So I think we got a lot of guys that we can get the ball to make plays. But he like I said, he just is the epitome of the kind of guys you want on your team, and just committed in everything that you ask of him. And he's made a lot of plays for us.
Jack, could you talk about, I thought really after the first drive they had in the second half, you guys made some adjustments to what they were doing and kind of just really held them in check the rest of the game. Could you just talk about what those adjustments were?
I'm not sure of any adjustments. I think we just decided to put our heads down and play some ball and not let up on those guys because, I don't know, we just wanted to do everything we could to just put them down, and I think we handled business today. 38-14? Yeah. See ya.
See ya.
Let me ask one quick follow-up. I just want to point this out because this is not a significant point, but it's an amazing point. Once again, Ryan Levy, in the opening game, I've never seen a guy average 51.2 with a longest of 52, because that meant that he punted 51, 51, and 52. Well, today, 3 punts, 42, longest 44. I don't care where you are. That's incredible consistency.
It was. I wish he wouldn't drop that snap. It's funny. Jalen, I think it was Jalen came up and said, "Coach, the guy just grabbed me around the collar and slowed me." So they had the holding call there before that happened. But no, Ryan's been really. I think everything about Ryan. We talk about details. And Coach Spangler, we were talking about this the other day. In fact, I think even South Carolina told us this. Our friends there, and after we played him, just said because they'd studied him and just how much better he was this year. Just in the mechanic part of it, getting snapped, getting off time, all those things. And those are huge, and people are paying attention to that. So he's been really solid.
I've never seen him like it as far as
he's been really solid. He got a pretty good kick there. Got a good hop on that first one, which I was kind of pleased. That's a hard to return ball, which their guy you wanted to limit the chances he got to return it. But no, Ryan's a guy he's a lot better at his job than he was a year ago. And it's been good for us. Thank you, guys.
I love it.